So thank you once again for the question. Earlier on, I answered the question on what a virtual machine is, and I'll just recap what the main components or the core components of a virtual machine are. Okay, so every virtual machine has a virtual central processing unit that simulates uh, the exact functions of the physical machine, as it were. It has a virtual RAM, virtual random access memory. Now, a portion of the host memory is allocated for this virtual random access memory. It has a virtual storage, that will be the virtual hard drive, where the operating system applications and data are stored. And of course, it has the virtual network adapter or network interface card, if you may, which enables communication uh, within the virtual machine, sorry, between the virtual machine and any other virtual machine or any other network. Okay, so it has a guest operating system, which is the best, which is the operating system that runs on the virtual machine itself, and of course, it has the virtual BIOS or UEFI. These ones handle the boot configurations of the virtual machine. That said, let's dwell once again on the benefits of virtualization for a business or even for an individual. Uh, Data centers are possible today to run at low cost courtesy of virtualization. You have several server instances hosted in just one machine, delivering service per time. Okay, it saves space, it saves cost. Application development and testing. Virtualization comes in really handy, where developers uh, create an isolated or an isolation, or let's say an isolated environment where their applications are tested so that whatever glitch that may exist would not spill over to affect the network. How about security? When you want to install, or when a business wants to install apps or deploy apps they are not sure of, okay, prior to moving it to from the production phase to going live, okay, usually it's tested in a sandboxed environment such that any glitches, once again, do not spill over into other portions of or other areas of the network, thereby giving room for uh, vulnerabilities that could be leveraged on by hackers or anyone with malicious intent. The benefits of virtualization go on and on for a business. How about scalability? At any point in time, a business is at liberty to either scale up or scale down, depending on the business needs per given time. Okay, fault tolerance or disaster recovery is also another huge benefit, another area where a business can apply virtualization, such that if an instance of, say, an operating system begins to give issues, or say one VM begins to give issues, you can very easily delete the virtual machine and recreate it. You can as well back up that VM by creating another, by replicating it, okay, or using some other backup means available to you. So uh, the most appreciated of these for me would be the cost saving and the space saving. Then again, there are those apps you want to run on a particular operating system and you find that they are not compatible with that operating system. Virtualization can also help you install versions of the operating system that are compatible with that app, okay, that can help the app run, especially when your, say, host machine does not have backward compatibility to support that particular app. So the merits go on and on. And so there are also a couple of demerits for use of virtualization. Okay, performance overhead is one demerit because normally virtualized environments are not as efficient as bare metal machines. Okay, that's one. Then you require high level IT skill for you to be able to configure the virtual machines and maybe perhaps configure the hypervisor. Any little mistake can prove costly to the business. All right. This said, move on to a server, what a server role is, what a server feature is. Think of a server as a building. The building can be a physical building or a virtual building. Okay, that building would be a restaurant, but a restaurant building does not tell you what kind of restaurant you are dealing with. So you would have a pizza restaurant, you have say maybe an African dish restaurant, you would have a sushi restaurant. The list goes on, and so it is with server roles. Okay, the role of a server tells you what kind of server you are dealing with. What is the function of that server? The main function of that server is the role of the server. Is it supposed to host and manage or serve web pages to users? Okay, in that case, it's a web server. Is it supposed to serve or manage emails? Okay, in that case, you're dealing with an email server. Same it is for the file sharing server, the DNS server for name resolution, and the list goes on and on. Server feature, on the other hand, is more like an add-on. Going back to the restaurant analogy, let's say pizza restaurant. The main function of that restaurant is to produce pizza and serve different varieties of pizza to the customers. Now, having a pizza oven would be an added feature that would help in delivering that service. But the pizza oven by any means isn't the main function. Okay, so that's what it is for server features. The role is the main function. The feature is just that added service or equipment that makes that server perform better. Okay, an example of that would be, say, Windows Server Backup feature and the BitLocker feature also on the server. Okay, that said, how do you determine what roles and what features to install, okay, in a server? Well, that depends on what you first of all want that server to do. Is that server going to just manage files, or did that point you in a particular direction? You also want to, the direction in this case is file sharing or file service. Okay, now you would also want to determine what the network requirements are. You would also want to determine if you have need for redundancy, okay, and performance. Okay, if you also have security considerations, these are all the things that come in together to guide you on what kind of server you would be running, what kind of server rules you would implement, or what kind of server features you would implement. You probably be thinking of backup, load balancing, and all that. Those are still determinants. To the subject of domain, think of a domain as one big corporate headquarters. Okay, now the headquarter is like a centralized point of control for all users, okay, and resources. Think of it that way and it becomes clearer. An Active Directory, on the other hand, is what manages the users, the computers, and the resources within this domain. Okay, now what makes it possible for the Active Directory to manage its users, computers, and resources is such things as group policies, okay, authentication, authorization. These are things that help the Active Directory manage users, computers, and resources within the domain. Of course, it does this usually in a hierarchical order, to keep things organized and in shape. Okay, that said, I hope I've been able to answer your question, and I'll take your feedback. Thank you very much.